Welcome to Treasure Coast Community Health, with 7 locations to serve you better. We have a dedicated staff. And now, here's your host, CEO Vicki Soulé.
Well, hello there, and welcome to Community Conversations. You know, every week we think about what we should have as our guests, what we should emphasize, what we should talk about. But the long and the short of it is we really have quite a mix because we have a diverse bunch of services. So today I'm going to start out with a couple of unusual things. First, I want to say thank you so much to all the people who supported our Great Duck Derby this past week. It was very unusual, but that's okay because it's been a very unusual year. Next year, we have already made reservations to be back at Captain Hiram's for our 9th Great Duck Derby, and we hope that you will mark your calendars for that 3rd or 4th weekend of October, as we always have it, and be with us physically as well as supportively. And so, again, I cannot say thank you enough. It's with those dollars that we're able to do different things to support our community, things that we don't get from insurance companies, things that are not paid for through the federal government in any way, shape, or form that help you all stay healthy. In addition, I'm going to emphasize something that's really been strong on my mind as we watch the COVID numbers shift about, going down and then maybe going up. And yet it is flu season. You know, those are very similar viruses, and scientifically, we don't know enough about COVID to say any connection with actual fact. But I can tell you that your immune system, like everything else, only has so much potential. And so if you skip the flu shot because you, quote, never get the flu, or perhaps you're wearing the mask diligently all the time, and so you believe there's no way that you could get the flu, I'm going to say think again, because there's no downside to getting the flu shot. There's only the upside of protecting yourself even better against possible viral calamities. So please, we have them at a discounted rate, CVS, VNA, Walgreens, all over town, Publix. You can get your flu shot and be protected. And it's not just about you. It's about your family, your friends, your grandchildren, that new baby that you want to cuddle. And it's important that you do it now because when flu season is 6 months long and it takes your body time to gather those immune responses and be able to react to that exposure, it might be too late. We might be in full bloom with the flu and or COVID. And by then, getting the vaccine is not going to be as effective as if you just did it now. So again, this is my plea for your better health. Please consider doing that this week. There's no better time. So now you know that I am a scientific proponent, and the joke at my house is I believe that there's better living through chemistry because I do have a scientific background. And so we're going to talk today with one of our pharmacists, Ken Zielinski, who's been with us working out in the Fellsmere location for many years. And everybody loves him because he gives good advice. Again, pretty scientifically based. Welcome, Ken.
Thank you.
We know that medicines are something that nobody likes to take. People pride themselves as they age on, I don't have to take a single thing. But those folks are pretty few and far between because as we age, our systems change, our bodies change, and our expectations and particularly preventative knowledge that we gather changes with that. So we're going to spend some time today talking about medications and what is good, what is bad, what we can do to help ourselves, and maybe a couple of questions that everybody wants to ask but never does it right at the pharmacy window. So tell us a little bit about your background, Ken, and how you came into this world of medication management.
Oh, I've been a pharmacist now for over 31 years. I've seen a lot. I've worked in retail. I've worked in health mail order. I've worked in compounding pharmacy. But it's all basically the same. People need help because they can't do everything just without assistance. assistance either physically or chemically. Chemically is what we deal with mostly in the pharmacy. And that's kind of my background. I've done a lot of stuff.
And we're very grateful that you decided, well, you wouldn't know. Ken doesn't live right next door. He commutes to be with us every day, a sizable distance. And so we are grateful for your 30 plus years of experience. And I know that a number of people will come up to the window to receive medications. And when you ask, do you have any questions? I see them offering you questions.
Yeah, it's an important step. It is a law, actually, OBRA 90. We have to offer counseling, but most people don't take advantage of it like they should. If you have a question, whether it's a simple question or a complex question, we're there to help try to answer that. And it makes it easier for you if you understand a little bit more about your medication.
Absolutely. I know that when I'm in the physician's office and they'll say, well, we could put you on this or that. What do you think? You're sitting there, you're trying to process everything, and who's going to argue with the doctor? It's like, yeah, okay, that sounds good. But then if you go home and say, they're putting me on this medicine and anybody asks me even one question, I have to really shake that memory stick and say, what did they tell me about it? And heaven forbid I'm asked multiple questions because I don't have that background. So those are the kinds of things. It's not a doubt of what your physician has prescribed, rather a fuller understanding of what it's meant to do. Are there any side effects you should watch for? And I know I get reams of paper. Does anybody ever read those? Why do you hand them out?
Yeah. Well, that's true. I mean, we hand them out again for OBRA 90, but if it's a great resource for patients who maybe they are afraid to ask, or maybe they, a lot of times they nod and they say, oh, I understand everything. And then they're too embarrassed to go, I have no idea what you're talking about. All I know that I've been on this medication for 20 years and it's my heart pill. They may not know what the medication is, what it does, although they know it's just for their heart. We're there to educate you. We're there to help you understand what this does and how maybe to take it better so it works more efficiently.
So that leads me to the question of times of day, working with other medications. If, for example, I went to a specialist for my heart and they gave me medication, would you know about that if I got medications picked up at the TCCH pharmacy by a TCCH doctor?
Yeah, we if you got medications picked up at the pharmacy, we have a system that, coordinates what they call it is drug utilization and review.
Okay.
And it shows you, this is what you're on. This is what your new medication might be. Have you canceled this other medication? Will there be any drug interactions of any kind?
And drug interactions, is that fairly common?
With our system, it's not a common base because we have, our providers are actually very knowledgeable on, don't do this with this. But in case, there are some, there are a few. And that's our job at the pharmacy is to try to guide you from, a possible side effect or a possible drug interaction, how to use that more properly.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like if you took it in the morning and another med at night, that might separate that interaction, or once it's in your body, it doesn't matter?
Well, no, exactly. Sometimes medications are developed to take in the morning and to take at night. If you're starting as far as a heart medication goes, you may be put on a diuretic.
Okay.
Now, you don't want to take a diuretic at night because you'll be up going to the bathroom.
Otherwise known as a water pill.
A water pill,
yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. So you would know you don't want to take that at bedtime because you won't get any sleep. You'll be up going to the bathroom. And then there's other medications that you don't want to take in the morning because they have a possible drowsy side effect. So you want to make sure that you're aware of these things. Even though the medication may say, take one daily, we want to try to give you an opportunity to, this is the most ideal time to take that.
Okay. And Treasure Coast Community Health currently has 2 in-house pharmacies, but we partner with other external pharmacies. We set that up initially so that if you received a medication, say in the emergency room on a Friday night, and you needed to have that filled over the weekend when we weren't open, you could go to another partner.
Absolutely.
But that has changed a little bit because we get our medications at what's known as a 340B pricing, which you know about because that was one of the things you had to learn as you came into the federally qualified health center.
Yeah, right.
It allows us to offer really discounted levels, and our partners put an administration or a dispensing fee on top of that. So going to them, the discount isn't as great, but certainly there's a good thing about starting your medications as soon as possible.
Right.
So we saw that as sort of a good compromise, but the pharmaceutical companies, some of them, not all, but I will note Eli Lilly was right out front last month in saying, we're not going to allow you to have multiple partners externally because that's giving discounts through too many pharmacies. And so they actually have said we can only have one partner, and they're not delivering any of our medications to the external pharmacies. Have you seen that affect our patients? Are you seeing more people not getting their medications or coming back to us where they might have had Publix, for example, fill them?
Yeah, we're offering now, a lot of good programs to compete with, the other pharmacies and stuff like that to actually win these customers, back, especially with maintenance medications. Maintenance drugs are a thing that you have to take on a regular basis, and you may not have to, if you see the emergency room, you may not have to get them that particular night.
Okay.
You can wait, and so they will wait, and they will come to us. And then we now offer mail order and delivery, which is even a better thing because we can get those patients and directly send it right to their house.
Okay.
And right to the mailbox. And it's a great advantage. Also, if you can get involved with auto refill, then what that happens is we can also, a couple of days before you actually run out, we'll go ahead and get that set up and send it to you. So you're in good compliance.
Oh, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So you say if you get into auto refill, describe that a little bit more. What's the process?
The process is just simply asking us. So it's
pretty
very
easy.
simple. You just say, would you like that on auto refill? Now, there are patients who, for whatever reason, would not want that, but it's such an advantage. They don't have to think about it. A lot of times they do their little weekly
Pill distribution in the containers.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
a little calendar. They've run out of medication when they fill that up.
Mm-hmm.
They don't remember to say, I got to call the pharmacy to get more. Now they get to the last day of the week, and there it is. Now, if they're on auto refill, we've already got that in the mail to them.
That is awesome.
It works out wonderfully.
Are there any medications that can't go on an auto refill?
Some medications that are like acute medications or controlled substances, we prefer not to put those on. Some that allow no refills, like narcotics, cannot go on that.
Okay.
But anything that's a maintenance or anything that's actually has a refill available to it can go on auto.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to take a short break for a word from our sponsors, but when we come back, we're going to talk about medications some more.
Okay.
Good information.
10, 9, 8.
Why did the countdown stop? Because it's the countdown to Buzz TV channel 1098, Comcast Xfinity, and it's here. Local content for Sebastian Vero and Fort Pierce. Tune in for local info, happenings, and fun, including all the great Planet Vero TV shows from 8 to 10 a.m. and p.m. Dial in channel 1098 for Buzz TV on your Comcast Xfinity box and discover what the buzz is all about.
Hi, I'm Vicki Soule, CEO of Treasure Coast Community Health. Treasure Coast Community Health has been serving Indian River County for 25 years. How did we get here? It took a commitment to you to provide you with the most affordable, high-quality, integrated network of healthcare available anywhere. It took board-certified doctors and dentists and a dedicated staff to ensure that you receive the best possible care. It took more locations to meet the need, and now TCCH has 7 locations, with the latest one conveniently located down the street from Cleveland Clinic Indian River Hospital. Our services are available to everyone, whether insured or not. And at TCCH, no one gets turned away due to an inability to pay. We rely on donations from generous benefactors to continue our much-needed work. We accept Medicare, Medicaid, and almost all insurances. Call us at 772-257-8224 or visit us at tcchinc.org.
At the Habitat Restore in Vero Beach, we applaud America's resilience, our spirit of rising up over adversity. We're now open for business every day, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, to continue our tradition of serving the needs of our community. Of course, we'll abide by the phased approach, using the recommended safety guidelines. We are now accepting donations, but ask that donors remain in their vehicles while Restore staff unload their car or truck. And until further notice, we remain closed to volunteers. Shoppers can always find gently used merchandise at great prices. Values in home furnishings, appliances, home decor, building materials, electronics, and so much more.
The Habitat Restore on U.S. Highway 1 in Vero Beach, just north of 45th Street, is open to the public. Your purchase helps to build 1 in every 3 Habitat homes. Shop the Habitat Restore, the store that builds houses. Habitat Restore is a nonprofit.
And welcome back to Community Conversations. If you're just joining us, you've missed my plug to get your flu shot, but I don't need to say it again. Get your flu shot. It's really good for you and our community. This week I've got Ken Zielinski with us. Ken is a registered pharmacist, licensed in the state of Florida, and 30 plus years of experience behind him. He works for Treasure Coast Community Health. And since we had the medication roundup on Saturday for expired meds, it seemed to be great timing to talk about medications, how they can help us, why we probably shouldn't have a lot of leftovers for the roundup, although I am very, very grateful for the folks that participated in that to get the unused medications out of their household. That is one of the number one ways to keep your household members safe. So Ken, welcome back.
Thank you.
I know that you talked about the TCCH advantage of having an autofill, asking us to remind our folks, our patients, when their medication is next due up, so they don't have to remember to call in or sign on to the patient portal and ask for more. And that's a great service, particularly for what you call maintenance medications. And no, that's not just for the medication maintenance man, okay? It's for all of us that have to take routinely things like blood pressure medications, statins to reduce our cholesterol, other things.
Diabetes medication.
Diabetes medication. Now, that's a big one. Because once people get on their insulin, metformin, other medications to help control their glucose levels, it's really important that they take them as prescribed.
That's important. Definitely.
Very important. I mean, if you miss your statin medication to lower your cholesterol for a day or two, it's not great for you, but the ramifications are probably not as serious as a diabetic or even a pre-diabetic on metformin that is taking their body through these real highs and lows of all of their organs. So I want you to talk a little bit about medication and all the different types of things that people struggle with, okay? Because, well, we only have a few minutes left. Why is it important to take your medication on time and routinely?
Well, medication is there for the doctor and the provider to set a goal. Okay, he wants you to be in a certain range of therapy.
Sort of a steady state?
Sort of a steady state, yes.
Okay.
And medications are meant to be used at certain times of the day. You were talking about statins. It's best to take a statin between the time that you eat dinner and before you go to bed, because that's when your body produces the most cholesterol. So let it work its optimal time to be its optimal drug. Okay?
So when it says once a day, there could be an optimal time that you should be discussing with your pharmacist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So we want to know that. Also, there's a time with a fixed relationship to meals. You may have heard a pharmacist say, as long as you take it the same time every day. Well, that doesn't mean 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay. What that means is when you wake up and maybe after you eat breakfast, that's when you always take this medication. So if you can get in a habit to do that always after breakfast, it doesn't have to be at 8 o'clock exactly, but after you eat breakfast, that's a fixed relationship with meals. So the medication in your body is going to absorb it correctly, absorb it with the right amount. A lot of medications are what they call protein bound. So they need some fat, they need some food in there to work ideally.
I never see that on my prescriptions.
Yeah.
I know that's probably in that 4-page font
pamphlet.
size 6 pamphlet that is required to be handed out. But it's so nice to know that you can advise on those things.
Yeah, it's good. It works. Medication is there to help you, and we're there to help you let the medication work best.
So I'm going to bring up one thing that I hear over and over again. I have the leftover medications because I didn't need that many, okay? Whether it's antibiotics or something that the person, the patient, figures is now fixed. I feel better, therefore I'm not taking the medication. Is that always a bad thing for them to say?
Well, I mean, always is, you can't always use always. But with blood pressure, especially, people will take the medication, then they take their blood pressure and they go, oh, I'm in a good range now. I'm going to stop taking my blood pressure. Well, what got you there?
What got you there?
What got you there? The medication probably got you there. Now you're going to find that your blood pressure is going to increase. You're going to need more time than when you get back onto that medication to obtain a steady state.
Okay.
And so it's not worth it. It's just best to get in that routine. And I can't stress the word routine enough with medications. Get in that routine. Take it the same way, the same time every day, and do that.
Hence the home delivery and 90-day options that are being offered at Treasure Coast to make it easier for you to do that. But again, I hear it's too expensive. I can't afford it.
Well, I mean, can you afford the emergency room visit that you're going to end up with, or the ambulance fee that it's going to have to be to do the 911 call to get you there? It's a lot easier to pay that, copay, or to pay that small amount for the medication to keep you out of the hospital.
But what if they don't have insurance, Ken?
Well, that's where Treasure Coast comes into play. I mean, we do have great pricing on a lot of our medicines. Several of them we have are free. Some of them are $4. So we have great rates and great pricing on a lot of these, what we are calling maintenance drugs.
And having lived in this community and knowing a number of seniors, I know that a number of people are affected with neuropathy or not having good feeling in their feet, and sometimes up into their calves. So there's no medication that's going to be a magic cure for the diabetes they ignored that got them there.
Correct. The diabetes, if you can maintain that, you're going to do a lot better with, preventing such things as neuropathy.
Which is nerve damage, basically.
Nerve damage, especially in the extremities. The feet in particular because of gravity. The sugar all goes down there. It blocks different things. It bundles on the nerves and you get pain. And that's what happens with it.
You're a pretty smart guy. Well, we're almost out of time. Is there any particular message that you want to voice at this point in time, or the one thing you want people to remember?
Well, the one thing would be to make sure you ask your pharmacist. We're a knowledge of, we're a resource. Let us, do that thing. Also, you can, with Treasure Coast, with your providers, whether you go to a facility that has a pharmacy or not, we can still get you into that mail order program and get you on a right track and where your medicine comes. It's important to take it. It doesn't do any good if you get it and it sits in the bottle.
Shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that is something that does bear repeating, doesn't it?
Right.
So get your meds, stay on your meds, talk about your meds, and live a healthier life.
Right.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here today, Ken.
Thank you for having me.
Well, and thank you all that have stuck with us to the end. I hope this has been valuable for you. We seem to learn something new every day in the world of science, and we hope that this, at this point in time, has been good for you. Have a great evening.